is happening with Allison B.
Well, hello. My name is Allison B, and I want to welcome to my 6th episode of What is Happening? What is Happening is an online talk show to share ideas on how to make a better you and me. So can you believe it's June already? And we are halfway through the year and halfway through with this podcast because I have committed to doing this through December. So thank you for coming along on this journey with me. So today's episode is called Love is in the Air. Today's episode will feature my special guest, Emma. And since it is the month of June, which is the #1 wedding month, we're going to be focusing on that today. And we are going to be sharing some wonderful ideas on wedding showers, including the decorations, the food, and I'm going to be giving you some of my favorite must-have recipes, one of my favorite, and so much more. So thank you for joining today, and let's welcome our guest. I'm sure. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. And it is time for our coffee chat. So I'm going to help me welcome our today's guest, which is Emma.
Hi.
Hey, Emma, thanks for coming.
Of course.
Yeah. So Emma and I, we worked together at a local elementary school for several years, and we're on the social committee together. Mm-hmm.
Lots of parties.
Yep. And there was another connection that we had as well. So, which is kind of special, is that when I moved here from Wisconsin, we met a couple other couples from church, and we kind of had no other family around. So we would do all holidays like Easter and Christmas together. And so I got to have some really good friends, and you actually married one of the sons of my friend, with my friend Lita. Yeah, so I knew you from a family connection as well as working together. So that's so cool. So I want to thank you for coming on today. So you got married last summer.
Yes, August 17th, 2024.
August wedding. And I was just so impressed with how things kind of have changed since I've been married 36 years.
Congratulations.
How things have changed from that time. Mm-hmm. And so I was just so impressed with how everything was beautiful and everything was just seemed so perfect. And I just kind of wanted to share that with everybody today.
All right.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
So, but first we want to start with our coffee mugs and share our coffee mugs. So do you want to share yours that you brought today?
It's not a coffee mug. It is a champagne glass made by one of our coworkers from one of my showers that we will talk about in a little bit.
Well, that's perfect.
So champagne.
Oh, that's so cool. Well, I'm glad you gave me the heads up because I also brought a champagne flute. So cheers. So mine, I didn't actually find the one from my wedding. I'm sure I have it. Yep. I would never have thrown that away, but I'm not sure it was. But I had, in my China hush was all pink at one time. And so someone gave me these set with the pink flowers. And so it was special to keep those. So I wanted to keep that. So,
perfect.
All right. Yay.
Cheers. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So you said you got married in August.
Yes.
And I know I got married in June, which we're both teachers. So summer weddings, really, really popular and common. Yep. And for many reasons. So it's like, I kind of looked it up, like what are some of the different reasons that people do get married in the summer, especially if you're teachers. So here's some interesting facts. And I can tell my voice is a little going, which is great because then you guys can all see how this myasthenia gravis works. And it's straining on my voice right now. So, but otherwise, with being on that Vyvgart, my symptoms are really at bay. And it's just this voice issue I have. And so it'll sound a little off. I don't know if we can hear it, but
no.
Okay.
No, thank you for sharing about it too.
Yeah. So, and then, I'll talk about your showers later because that's something else. But so one is with June weddings. June is named after Juno, who was the Roman goddess of marriage. Mm-hmm. So people thought if you married in June, you would be have a lot of prosperity and happiness. And I like this little fact.
Okay.
So back in the 19th century, people only would take a bath once a year.
Oh.
And
Right.
late spring or early summer, so couples tend to get married then because they would smell the best.
Oh, okay. All right. Good to know.
Another reason, flowers. They
Yes.
bloom. So what was your go-to flower?
I mean, roses, for
Roses,
sure.
yes, and
Roses
definitely
are
in
my favorite.
Oregon,
Yeah,
they
and I
are
really
blooming.
wanted them incorporated in everything celebratory, from our engagement party to each of the showers had flowers and specifically roses in some way, shape, or form.
Definitely. Yeah. The weather.
Yeah.
Nicer weather. They, if you, I picked June. However, it was like really, really hot. So I was outside doing that little reception line dying. So you just, and then sometimes things don't always go as planned, like for your wedding.
Correct. Yeah. My wedding ended up in a thunderstorm, the first thunderstorm in Oregon in the month of August in 10 years. But we'll get to some of the pictures later, but we did get pictures before it all started. So best of both worlds.
Yeah. And it was supposed to be an outdoor wedding.
Well, it's supposed to be outdoor. We'll have photos
But I
of that
gotta
as well.
I gotta tell you from my perspective, because I went there and by the time we got there, everything had been moved inside and it was beautiful. I would have not known that we were supposed to be outside. Like, I think it just looked great inside. So
Thank you.
don't ever worry about that. I think
Okay.
that was just a special thing because you pulled it off, and just
you.
probably your close family and friends who knew
Yes.
that would know. Otherwise,
That's true.
everything was perfect.
Thank you.
So, yeah. Vacation time. So, yes, for teachers, we want to have as much vacation as we can after that wedding. And then again, that kind of shifted for you.
Yep.
You want to share that little, what happened? You kind of were,
For which part?
well,
Sorry.
you were planning your honeymoon, and then school bumped a week.
Yeah, I got married the Saturday before school even started. So I actually had to use 3 of my personal days during pre-service week. So while all my coworkers were back at work, I was 3 days in Bend with my new husband, and then had to come back and do meet the teacher night right away, which was not intentional. It wasn't done intentionally when we planned our wedding and picked our day. That was not the week that we were going back. We were supposed to go back the following.
Exactly.
But we got moved to starting school before Labor Day. So that's how that got changed.
Well, obviously, you and Grant are flexible.
Yes. Yep.
And go with the flow, which is what
Yep.
you have to do.
Yep.
And so I am from a really small town. So, everyone wants to get married in the summer. So you almost have to book. It's kind of like daycare these days. You have to book a year before you even have the baby, kind of. But so my mom and I went to go book everything we needed for this. And, I couldn't get the photographer I wanted. They were booked already. The church, I was able to get the church, but only if I decided to share the same date with another person. So, but that ended up working out great because we also then went in together on the flowers. So
That's
we
great.
I know it ended up working fine. So
There's a lot of similarities between, like, there's still booking struggles
yes,
36 years ago
Right.
versus today. So it's nice to know that it wasn't just a 2024 problem of trying to find vendors and booking people. It's just the wedding industry.
and people are getting clever because now I've been to weddings that are in the middle of the week.
Yep. Cheaper.
So cheap. Oh, yes, of
It's
course.
much cheaper.
Of course.
A Wednesday
So
wedding.
I thought it'd be fun to share a couple of our wedding photos. So let me get that up. Oops. Okay. Okay, so this is a picture of Scott and I. We got married at kind of a resort area. So they did have a golf course on site.
Nice.
And then there's our champagne flutes.
Oh, cute.
And here's our wedding party. So it looks like I had, four bridesmaids and five bridesmaids in my wedding. Okay.
Yeah, so that is my husband Grant and I. This is where we were supposed to get married outside. It was all set up because the weather was, supposed to hold off. But we ended up sharing our vows privately to each other first. So that's what this photo is of, which was really nice because it kind of helps you shake your nerves off a little bit. It gives you a private time. This was right after we did our first look. So we did our first look at the bottom of the staircase that we ended up actually getting married at, which is pretty ironic. Then we took a walk together outside to where we were intended to get married and shared our vows and just shared a private moment with each other. And it's nice to have these photos to be able to look back and see kind of what could have been, but also just, that special private moment.
Mm-hmm. And I see your colors were kind of...
peachy. I wanted some color, but I wanted it subtle. We'll see bridesmaids photos in a little bit, but they were in black. So these colorful flowers really helped pop against the black dresses.
Mm-hmm. And I know 26 years ago, my first choice of color was teal.
Oh, okay. All right.
I just loved it. And so my husband's aunt or cousin was going to make our cake. And so then I just had this vision, because back then you would have this big tiered cake and it would have a waterfall in it. So I'm just thinking of that teal water kind of pooling in there going, you know what? I think I want to change it. So I changed it to mauve.
Oh, nice. That's pretty
So another color that you probably don't see that much of today. Okay, so here's your wedding.
Yes,
your wedding party.
Yeah, so went with black bridesmaids dresses, classic. I was going between a few different colors, whether it was going to be like a moss green. I even actually thought of like a dusty blue at one point. But once I found those flowers that were really colorful, I kind of thought how chic and classic and nice it would look to have everybody in black, and who isn't really comfortable in black, whether it's hot, cold, raining, super sunny, and everybody seemed to love it. All the girls got to pick their own dresses from one specific brand.
Perfect.
And so that kind of gave them some option, and everybody decided on their own different styles that worked best for them. So I loved seeing when they would order their dresses and they would send me a picture and go, "Do you like it?" And I was like, "Yes," or I wouldn't have picked the brand.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, so it was really nice to have that. And as you can see, they all turned out really nice. And they were all good fits for everybody.
Yeah, I was planning mine. I actually lived in Alabama at the time, and my bridesmaids were all in Wisconsin. And so they went looking, and they're like, "We want to find a dress that we know we can wear again." And they, I don't know if you remember seeing it, was that floral dress. I know they never wore that again. But anyways, we just had to go with it. It was kind of hard to plan it being far away.
That's another connection to both weddings is people now also want that same. Bridesmaids say the same thing. I want to be able to wear it again. And that was definitely a factor with the black dress. I'm like, if you need a formal black tie gown, they already have one now. So
it's beautiful. Perfect. Now, is this at the venue?
This is at the venue. Okay. It was, a big like house style, not super barn style, but it kind of gives off those vibes in this picture. But so this was at the venue, Oswego Hills Winery. So you didn't really get to see the vineyard in these photos, but the photographer chose this background for us.
Was this before the wedding?
Yes, we did as all the photos, and
perfect.
Thank goodness, because we finished them up right as the rain came. And then it was downhill from there.
Oh my gosh.
So we're really glad we got the photos done ahead of time.
Okay. So I think I need to go back and stop this share, but then, because I don't think I shared the sound, because I want to share. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. Oops. Okay. Okay, so Emma, do you think there's like a limit, or can you have too many bridesmaids in your
That's a great
question.
Party? So Grant and I really did intentionally keep it to 6 on each side. There is a 7th in there. I had a junior bridesmaid, the girl that I nannied growing up, who was about to turn 19 at the time. She was also our flower girl, so she was featured in our photos, so it looks like there's 7, but it was hard to keep it down to 6, but we just thought it looked clean and nice. It was the people who I was messaging and interacting with on a daily or weekly basis, and that's kind of how we thought about who was going to be involved in our wedding versus people who we just, I like you a lot, right? We also made a conscious decision. We didn't have all of our siblings or siblings-in-law involved in our wedding party, except for my twin brother, because my twin brother actually met my husband before I met my husband.
That's right.
So and he was our best man. So
Cool.
that was the only sibling or extra family member that was in our wedding party. And again, it was due to the friendship that had happened before time. So that helped keep our numbers down.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, Allison?
This looks quite the many people.
It's a lot. That's like all your friends and family included.
Yeah, and I know Scott would say, I probably could have come up with that many girls, but he'd be like, wait, I don't have that many boys. Because he's just he doesn't have a big array of friends.
It is harder for the boys to come up. That was something that came up.
So you kind of have to like balance it that way. Yeah. So the roles of a bridesmaid. I don't know. Let's watch this little video and then decide, like, do we think that's changed over the 35 years or not? So let's do this real quick. Okay. So
that's great. That's so funny.
You had some thoughts, you said.
Well, it's funny because you do end up having a lot of expectations that you have of a bridesmaid. I was a bridesmaid twice before, with two of the girls who then were bridesmaids in my wedding. So it was nice to get to learn from them. And the only notes that I took from them were all positive. I think that I had two great examples of people who did a really great job. And yeah, I think it's a beast being in someone's wedding. And I think when you say yes to being a bridesmaid, then you're saying yes to a lot. I had a Thursday night event before my wedding. I had a Friday night, rehearsal dinner. I had actually even Thursday morning, we had like an optional like kickball game with our family members at the park by the house near our house. So yeah, there's just a lot. And then, getting ready the whole day. And we had, people in all different walks of life. I had a friend, one of my bridesmaids had her baby 3 weeks before the wedding.
Right. Yes.
I have another bridesmaid that has 2 young children as well. And all that's to say is that people move mountains to help the bride. And yes, I had been there for a lot of those girls' weddings myself. And now one of my bridesmaids is getting engaged and I'll be in her wedding. So I'm about to pay it all back being a bridesmaid again in 2026. So I think it's just when you say yes, you're saying yes to a lot. So make sure that when you say yes, you know what you're committing yourself to.
Yeah. But it's like an honor to be asked.
It is an honor to be asked. So and yes, the financial, I think, and there are boundaries with the financial side of it too. I think you can express, only for like a bachelorette. I had some people come a day later, right? Just people contribute in all different kinds of ways. Yeah, those are my thoughts on that.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Well, I agree because now that I look back, like I was in my bridesmaids' weddings, from almost all of them, and that had bridesmaids in their weddings. Some didn't, and so it's kind of like, and then like I'm thinking like the dress and the shoes you can wear again. It's like the destination weddings, though I think, or the going out of town for the bachelorette party, something new. That really wasn't something that was happening back then.
So I did have some pretty big thoughts on that. I don't like it for me. And so I picked somewhere we could drive to. So we went up to Washington and we found a cute house, a house that was big enough. That was where we invested our money, was in a house that everybody liked. Everybody kind of helped choose it. It was near a lake so that we could have a finance-free option, right? We'd go walk down to this lake with Costco snacks and drinks. And that would take away from a big financial endeavor. We only went out one night. We did a full dance party at the house. So we made sure the house was able to accommodate for all of us. And we had a dance party and again, Costco for snacks and drinks. And so my bachelorette, I did find to be very affordable. A huge part of what I did for my bachelorette that made it affordable was when you are out for the one night, you can post on your social media, buy the bride a drink, and it sends right to your Venmo. And people are so kind and generous in those moments. And yes, it can go towards drinks, but we actually would drink a little bit more before. And like, yes, there would be drinks while we were out, but it was limited, right? It's only about like 3 drinks while you're out, each one at each place. The Venmo ended up totaling to like over $600.
Wow.
And I put all of that back into the house, the groceries,
Okay.
all of that for the girls.
Oh,
so I didn't
interesting,
keep any of it.
Yeah,
So even
yeah.
though it went straight to my Venmo, I gave it back to the girls. So the girls only ended up owing under $150 each
Amazing.
for the
Yeah.
bachelorette, which is unheard of because there were no flights. It
Yeah.
was the cost of the house,
Yes.
you know. So it doesn't have to be expensive. You can still have a great time. Go for 3 days. And it doesn't have to cost
Yeah.
you. And that was, I should clarify, that's for food and drink, those types of things. The house was a separate cost. So that was, I believe, about $200 or less.
Yeah.
Bridesmaids' dresses were also under $100 as well.
Wow, good
Chose
job,
the company
Emma.
for that. So I was money conscious with,
Yes.
because everybody has their own story. Everybody has their own thing that they need to do. So
Yeah, and you know how they mentioned in that video, like Vegas. We've been to
Oh,
Vegas or Nashville, I think
Nashville,
it was.
yes.
I've been to
Nashville is
both
the
of
top,
those and
yeah.
have seen tons and tons of, the bachelorette parties going on. So
and it was
super
funny
fun.
because when we were staying outside of Seattle. So then we went into Seattle the one night that we went out, and it was actually it was the Seattle block party was happening at the same time. So there was actually an Chapel Roan, who's really big right now, the Pink Pony Club and Hot to Go and all that, was actually performing.
Oh, wow.
So the community that we were around was incredible. When we were downtown, we felt safe, we felt great, and everybody was like, oh, like, you guys look so great. And we were in sparkles, and so we like matched everybody that was there. So it was actually, everything turned out to be great for my bachelorette party. So I hope all my girls had fun.
Oh, I'm sure
and thought
they
it was
did.
worth
Yeah,
it.
Yeah. Okay, so perfect. So I want to get into the showers because that was one thing. This happened, like you said, you got married in August, and I was just coming home out of the hospital at that time.
Yes.
So I was not really at my go time. So I just had to pop in. I was at the school one.
Yes.
And then I was just popped into the one of them. So but I wanted to be there, but I'm sorry I couldn't because I just wasn't.
No, you did come by, and I appreciate it.
I came by and So, okay. Now let's go back to our. Oh, I gotta find my. Whoops. Okay, keep talking, Emma. I gotta figure out how to get that. How I get back to my.
We for my, are we gonna do our school shower first?
Yes.
Okay, I think it might be on the other page.
Yeah, I got moved this. I think.
Yeah, perfect. Right
there it is over here. Okay.
Yes. So my school shower first. So my lovely coworker, Jenny Rogers,
who could be here today.
couldn't
She
be
was
here
going to
today.
come and
Yes.
tell all her little decorating
Yes.
tips, but she wasn't feeling well. So yeah.
Yeah, let's present this and then we can see the
Make it bigger.
Yeah, or hit the present button.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, perfect.
So.
Okay.
So the first bridal shower that I had was my school bridal shower. It was Pinot and Pearls.
I know.
Themed.
I loved your theme so much.
Thank
Pinot
you.
Pearls. Yes.
And Jenny Rogers put it on at her house. So normally with school showers, you do them at the school, and they're quick and easy, and they're 20 minutes. And I was definitely at the time I was wanting to have fun, and I was like, I want people to be able to drink and have fun and play games. And Jenny graciously offered to host. So we did she was like, pick a theme. We did Pinot and Pearls. So the first thing, she created this sign on Canva, on the Canva app. And so she was able to design it and then send it over to FedEx for printing. The FedEx here in Beaverton has been super helpful. I've used them for a lot of the other things that we'll talk about in a second. But so she was able to print that off for me, and she added the balloons, and I think they look really great.
It was awesome. I was like, how did she make these signs?
Yeah.
So
design on canvas, design it yourself, and then send it off for printing.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
And then I think same thing with the game that she came up with, which was the having your pearls, and then not being able to say certain things, like you don't say bride, right?
Yeah, I couldn't say bride.
I couldn't say bride, couldn't say those things, or else you'd lose your pearls, which was pretty fun. It was a really cute, fun theme. She gifted me those two amazing things, the bottle of wine with the florals on top of it, and the G that is covered in pearls. I believe, if I remember correctly, she had gone to a craft store to get the G, and then she ordered a ton of pearls and was able to glue them on. Yes, the other thing that she also, so she glued them on to the G herself, and then...
Well, I was going to show you the flowers.
Okay.
Because, let's see if this comes up.
Oh, yes.
We'll just watch this. Yes, so this was...
Yeah, so you have to make the hole with the wine bottle itself.
Yeah.
And then, once you have the green, the sponge, I think you soak it with water as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so you let it
that
soak
was
in
so
water.
cool.
Yeah, because it stayed alive for a while. I got to take it home with me, and it was great. Yeah, I just put it in a open base type vase.
Okay.
When I went home.
I just have to do that. Nope. Okay.
All
right. Okay.
So then there were some leftover pearls.
Yeah.
Which I still have my wine glass. The signs, right? That's what we're also
Yes, the
talking about.
signs.
Yeah, so same thing. So Jenny has a cricket, and so she was able to make the cheers to the future Mrs. Giraldi sign in the background. And she, again, with the balloons, she had ordered a set of balloons, and she blew them up herself and created her own balloon arch, which she maneuvered around the sign. I can't remember where she got the sign. It must have been from a craft store as well.
Yeah, she said they come in different sizes. So, so that was, she was sharing this before, I think it was the planning party for your party or something, but this balloon blower upper thing. Do I have a picture of that? Yes. And she says you just put a balloon on each of the ends, blows up, and she just ties it and puts it on. I'm like, we all ordered one that day, I think, because it was like, what? That's amazing. I don't have to blow it up by hand or, by my mouth. I loved it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then she had these little charcuterie. Another teacher made these, but look how cute that is. They just ordered these little cups and did a little personal charcuterie. It looks like salami and cheeses and tomatoes and pretzels, and was just really, really yummy and beautiful at the same time. And then I thought this might be something we could do in the future, because it was kind of a cute little thing of just adding house. Whoops. Well, guess we're not going to be looking at that. I don't know what happened there. Anyways, they just cut a grape in half and twisted it, and it turned into the heart. So I thought that was kind of cute. Okay. And then we have, whoops, I got to go back to present. Okay, your other party.
Yes. So that cheers to the future Mrs. Giraldi
nice.
sign from Jenny got reused for my next my personal bridal shower, which was petals and prosecco. Obviously, I like Pinot and prosecco and all of those things. So for that sign, this one was thrown by my bridesmaids, also by my mother, who's featured in the photo. Her name's Amy, in the beautiful dress, also floral. So she fit the theme very well. And one of her good friends, who's like an aunt to me, Merity, who lives down the road from Allison, which was great. So we reused that sign, and we went to Trader Joe's and bought I think a $3.99 bouquet.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, seriously. And we laid the board flat. We hot glued I had two maids of honor. I forgot to mention that during the bridesmaids part, that I had two maids of honor to help take the load off of one maid of honor. So that was another thing. But anyway, so Kenzie was the maid of honor who had come into town, and she helped. So it was Jenny, me, and Kenzie who put the board together, I think a day or two before. I think it was just the day before, just so that they were still fresh. I will say I still have this board. It has bent a little bit in my garage. My husband has just put heavy buckets of paint in the corners to try and flatten it out so we can put it up in the garage.
Oh, neat.
So it's kind of like the florals are dried, but they all stayed on there.
Still cool. Yeah, it's probably just has a different look. Yeah, but
I've kept all of my boards. Boards and posters.
They're so beautiful. You want to keep looking at them. Yeah. And then we have here.
Oh, yeah. Yep. So we had, that floral theme really worked well. Yeah, we had the champagne bucket with the, with the florals in it. And then we had the balloon arch in the backyard, which was great. I think only a few of them popped, which was great in the sun. Yep. Yep.
That's so cool. Yeah. So I wanted to share all those ideas. And then we have here, I noticed that looking back at your photos, you always had the cutest outfits, and you're like, oh, I was able to get these great deals. I'm like, wait, what? I want you to share some of those. Okay. So here's just a couple of your outfits that you had worn, but you had a different outfit for every occasion. So kind of share about your good finds.
So I found bridal outfits, whether it was engagement photos, showers. Again, I had said before that we had events on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. all of the outfits that I found were either a clearance deal from everywhere from Amazon or Target, down to just mentioning to girlfriends that I was looking for outfits and getting connections through them. So the dress that I have on in the left picture with my husband Grant was actually a BCBG dress that my other maid of honor, Michaela, she was living in New York at the time and had a connection with someone at BCBG and was able to get this dress for me for free. It was sample size.
Nice.
It was given to her.
Wow.
Didn't quite work for her. So she gave it to me. I put it on with a few other bridesmaids around and they were like, oh my gosh, you have to wear this for something. It was so comfortable. It was great. So I did not actually pay for that. It was gifted to me.
Yeah, perfect.
The one for my school shower was just Amazon. It was Target jeans and an Amazon top.
Okay.
And then for this one here for my personal shower, that is a Target dress that I got on clearance. It was maybe like $20.
Oh my gosh.
So that was another thing that I will say as the summer hits for June. June is a huge month for white dresses because graduations, the girls are mostly wearing white dresses now underneath their outfits. So between brides and graduates, white dresses are everywhere and you can find deals pretty often. So that's kind of where I found stuff. Amazon and Target were the big ones.
Yeah. I think that was it. So, oh my gosh, those are amazing, some amazing tips. And I'm so glad that you came on and was able to share that because I think a lot of the people that are watching are going to appreciate that and like, oh, I hadn't thought of that, and just some new ideas or things to share. So,
perfect.
Okay.
Well, cheers one more time.
Yes, cheers, cheers. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so my Bible verse today is from John 13:34, and it reads, "Love one another. A new command I give you, love one another as I have loved you." I thought this was appropriate since it is our wedding month and it's all about love. So I get that you're loving your new spouse, but what does it mean in other ways from God's perspective? What does it mean to really love one another? And that is something, I kind of spend my morning Bible studies with, kind of thinking about how can I show God's love to other people? And, there's not a direct do this, this, this. So some things that God has led me to feel what it means is like just listening to others when they need some support, helping others by giving food or clothing, being kind to others as a whole, and serving others and encouraging others. Those are kind of the main things that I think love one another means. And it's easy to say, well, I can show this love to my family members or my closest friends, which are like family. But kind of think that God is saying, no, love your neighbor. So that isn't like so maybe it's someone that isn't like you or does different things. That this is where you need to get out of your comfort zone and help support those people as well. But speaking of family members, I know I see a lot of like brokenness where somebody has wronged somebody in the family or a close friend, and their feelings get hurt, and they're like, oh, they cut off the ties. And they're like, nope, I don't want anything to do with those people anymore. But I just want to encourage you to mend those relationships, because God does tell us like to forgive someone 70 times 70. Like that just tells me that God is always saying he wants you and your family members to be as one. And I guess going through this experience with this autoimmune is that sometimes you don't get a second chance, and you're going to have regrets if you don't do something now to change that dynamic between families. So maybe you need to be the bigger person and go to who is in your relationship that you want to mend and offer the apology to move forward or figure out a way to move forward. If they don't respond to that, then that's on them. But at least you've done your part to write that, because you never know if you are going to be here tomorrow or if they're going to be here tomorrow. So now is the time to do it. And do my little community group was just kind of brought up that sometimes it's good just to set a date that you're going to do that, because it's easy to say, oh, I'm going to do that, and then next week, and then that week comes and goes. So just kind of be accountable to yourself with that. So thank you for joining, and here's to a better you and me. And I look forward to seeing you next month. Okay, bye-bye.